Hannes Namberger, welcome back to Chamonix, your third UTMB. How are you feeling?
Hello, thanks for the invitation. Yeah, if I be honest, I'm really nervous, but super excited to do the loop again, this time to the finish line. Yeah, I will stick to my plan and have fun around the loop.
Say more about being nervous, because I think it'll be relatable to the listeners. Obviously, like, you come in as one of the favorites into the race and fantastic athlete, and you've gained a lot of experience at some of the biggest races in the world, but even somebody like you can arrive here at UTMB and be scared for the challenge ahead.
Yeah, normally I do only 100K races or 120K races, and the 170K, that's a big difference. You calculate 21 hours, around about 22. And you have to do different things here. Stay warm during the time, eat a lot, eat solid food. And I did only one 100-mile race in my life before. So for a 100K race, I'm not really nervous, but for this, it makes me nervous.
So before we talk more about the race, let's talk about the other major life development that is materializing here very soon. You and your partner, of course, expecting a child here in the next few weeks. How are you feeling about that? And does it give you any energy ahead of UTMB this week?
At the moment, I'm super relaxed and I'm thinking on the race and also on my wife at home and to the baby. But I have one more week in this bubble, in the trail running bubble. And if I arrive at home, then trail running doesn't exist. Yeah. So then we have to wait.
Yeah.
Super happy to do this, both worlds. Yeah, we will see what happens in 3 or 4 weeks maybe. And you know it better than me what happened. It's my first time.
It's gonna be amazing, man. You're in for an absolute treat, and I think you will be carrying, just the knowledge of this new life change with you on the race course on Friday. And I'm sure your partner will be at home watching the live stream broadcast, and soon you'll be a united, new, expanded family, which is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So talking about your season, you sort of finished a disappointing 14th at the World Championships near where you live in Austria earlier in the summer. Talk about that performance. What happened there? You were able to sort of salvage a solid performance. I think you were way back earlier in the race, ultimately finishing 14th. Yeah. So just give us the story of that race and what you learned.
I would say I made a big mistake. I tried something new in my nutrition plan and this doesn't work. I tried it a lot in the training, but not in race conditions. And it doesn't work to my body. And then, I really fucked up in the race. I was on position 39 and then I changed in the race my whole nutrition plan and then it worked again. But it was too late and 14th place was not the result what I expected before. But I learned a lot from these memories, and then I changed with my nutrition brand what I use, what is working really good for my body, and then I tried it in Switzerland again in the Eiger Ultra, and it worked. And then I could run like the past years before. Yeah, sometimes you make mistakes, and that's. You have to learn.
Does it give you confidence that you can still salvage a 14th position in the World Championship, even on a bad day? I think it says a lot about your talent and your race execution.
Difficult to say, but I learned from this race that you never give up. The race was very short with 86 hours, but if you have the same experience on UTMB that you are feeling not good until, Courmayeur, for example, then don't give up. Maybe you make it to the finish line and you can pass runners by runners. Yeah, it could be also very helpful, not only for me, but for everybody. If you're not injured, if you have no really big pain, then make it to the finish line.
Yeah.
Why not?
Miracles can happen.
And afterwards, I was so happy that I don't give up.
Yeah.
That I fight, that I have a good fight against my body.
Yeah.
And 14th place was not good, but I was happy with myself.
It's also not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad at all. So then you bounce back with a great victory at the Eiger Trail UTMB race, early to mid-July, I think it was. Yeah, mid-July. Tell us a little bit about that race, building confidence back, and how it sort of launched you forward towards UTMB.
I would say the Eiger was a little bit difficult race because not the good elite runners was there. It was only one handful of good runners. And I tried to go from the start line in my own pace, and I was the whole race alone.
Really?
So I had always to push myself. The gap was always bigger and bigger. I had at the end 28 minutes to the second position. It was okay. You
did run a fast time, a time that was commensurate with the victory
every year. It was not
a
fast time, but the heat was the problem. It was too hot. My core sensor was smashing. I was always like fever because the temperatures for this altitude over 30 degrees, and that's
hot.
It's really hot.
Yeah.
So always cool down.
Yeah, we were just talking before we pressed record for our listeners here. It's a cold, overcast day here in Chamonix, and Hannes was saying, I was hoping that the weather would be like this for UTMB, but it does look like the forecast is going to be opening up and improving. It won't be hot like it was at Eiger, but it won't be the nasty weather conditions that maybe would favor somebody like you.
I would love to have conditions that you have to run with hand gloves, with the rain jacket, and then you have to be hard to yourself to make it to the finish line.
I want to spend some time talking about your training now. I noticed that you do like a good amount of volume on the bike even throughout the summer months. Tell us about how you've structured things, how you recovered from Eiger, and sort of that mix between biking and running, and how you've been orienting your training towards UTMB.
I would say between Eiger and UTMB are only 7 weeks. So after the race, I did 1 week without training and then started smart again. The first week is always how the body reacts. Do we have injuries? Do we have some problems? But the last 5 weeks, they went really good. I spent, I would say, 30% on the bike and 60 until 70% on running. I don't do so much running. I would say my average kilometers per week are 120, maximum 150. And I'm fine with this.
Yeah. That's like 80 to 90 miles a week, roughly, for our American listeners. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Not huge volume, but then you supplement with, what do you do? Maybe 10 hours on the bike too?
No, not. I would say 100 miles on the bike.
Yeah.
But gravel, not road biking, or sometimes indoor. In the winter, only indoor.
I saw you ripping the Zwifts. Yeah.
I love Zwift.
That's really interesting, man. I mean, I think it puts you in, a category of athletes that, is really creative with their training and doesn't necessarily look to external, sources for what works best for you, right? Like it's sort of counterintuitive to do smaller volume in training and then add supplemental volume on the bike. Obviously, you just did a big 100-kilometer race only 7 weeks ago that proved you have the fitness, but it also is important for you to recognize that you don't need to necessarily stack a bunch of volume on that fitness, but it's important to just maintain the freshness also. I noticed you do some big uphill intervals where you'll do like 12 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, all uphill. Yeah. Tell us about that.
I do, all my intervals are always uphill.
Yeah.
I do not often in the flat part because of injuries. I'm not a runner. I didn't learn running as a child. So I'm a pure trail runner, and I started it with trail running when I was 27 years old, so very late. But the uphill intervals, they help me a lot for the races, to keep in the hiking mode, to work with poles, to make big steps, not always running. Sometimes it's very steep. And that's what I like. And for the race, that's perfect, especially for here, for UTMB. If your legs are tired, then you cannot run all the time. Maybe Courtney can do it, but for me, it's not possible. So I have to walk, and sometimes I have the same speed like when I would run.
Yeah.
And that's good to have the change in the races between running and walking and hiking.
Yeah, I was just, as somebody who does the vast majority of my interval work, also going uphill, man, those workouts look big that you do, up to an hour and a half of total volume going uphill. That's a big workout, and I'm sure makes you strong and confident ahead of a race like UTMB. Let's talk about the experience that you have here. You finished 6th in your first attempt in 2021.
Exactly.
And then you had an unfortunate DNF at Courmayeur last year. How did those two races influence how you're thinking about this year? And what happened last year exactly? Was it a nutrition thing also?
No, I hit my toe against a stone, and then I wasn't at the doctor, but I think it was broken, and because it was totally swollen and blue. And I tried it over 1.5 hours, but I was limping and it wasn't running.
That's happened to me. Very painful. Yeah.
Yeah. And I said to myself in Courmayeur, I have to stop because my body gave me the signal, stop here, don't go further. That was my first DNF, but it was fine. It was a mistake during my run. Okay. Mm-hmm. But also I made a mistake last year that I was too aggressive I wanted only to run faster than the year before. In my first year, I was totally relaxed. I was nervous, but I was happy to be here. Mm-hmm. My first 100-mile race. And last year I said only faster and faster. But why? Enjoy Chamonix, enjoy UTMB, enjoy the community. Yeah, I'm healthy. I can be here. And that's a good feeling. And with this feeling, I will go to the start line. And that's all. Don't look too much on the watch or on time splits.
Because I recall when you came on the podcast, we were talking about how you usually allow, you pay attention to your heart rate data, usually early in the race, to just gauge how you're feeling and how you're performing. You're saying that it's better to maybe just focus more on your intuition and pay less attention to the data?
Yeah. Heart rate is very important. Yeah. So I don't throw this away because it pays me a little bit, especially at the beginning. If everybody's sprinting away, then you have to come down. But later in the race, really enjoy it, put the headlamp on, have a good night. Don't waste too much energy. And then if you make it to Courmayeur, only 30 minutes behind the leading group, everything is okay. Yeah. Then go away, make it to Switzerland, and then if you're in a good position, then you can push more or run more aggressive. But at the beginning, enjoy it and have a good time. That's my goal.
Yeah, good. So I think this year is maybe a little bit different for you and for the field in general. We've been talking for the last few days about how the men's race is totally wide open, it feels like. The absence of people like Kilian and Francois and Xavier and many of the recent champions. It's incredibly deep. There are a number of fantastic athletes, many people who can win the race. But I think you probably come in as one of the favorites this year. Do you feel that way? Or does that change your psychology ahead of a race like this?
No, not really. If some people say you are one of the favorites, okay, but we come all to the finish, to the start line, have the same cards in the hand, and we have all run the same loop.
Yeah.
So, I want to be proud of myself. after the loop.
Yeah.
I want to make myself proud. I want to bring my performance, what I can do.
Yeah.
And that's all. That's my goal.
Yeah.
All voices, what comes from the outside, they motivates me, but it's no pressure, I would say. Yeah.
So maybe winding down, I'd love to hear about the recce loop that you did with Robert Hodnell. But also you said something before we pressed record about how you intentionally stay at home in Germany to train because Chamonix can be a little overwhelming. So maybe talk about that philosophy, but then also the fact that you came over here to do that recce loop with Robert.
At home, nobody cares about trail running. Yeah, that's super cool. I can go to my mountain, have a good time, be on my trails, have my loop. Yeah, it's not a trail running community at home. Yeah, I'm in my own world. That's super fine. Then I come here and everybody's talking about UTMB times and everything like that. Then that's cool. So I will stay only 1 week here. Yeah. But before, I saw that Robert Heinal from Romania stays here for 1 month, and I wrote him, "Yeah, do you want to join me for the loop? I will do it only from Saint-Gevard to Comayeur and then to Switzerland and then back, so 3 days." Yeah, why not? Then we said, okay, we need only one fresh shirt, one short, and one fresh pair of socks, and that's all. And then we make bike packing with the backpack, and then I booked some hotels, and that was it. And we had such a good time, perfect weather. We meet a lot of other runners. That was really cool. So not so much equipment, no sports nutrition. I had only Coke and gummy bears in my pocket, and it was all. And we had a good time on the trail. And that's sometimes cool to come back to the basics.
Yeah. And he's finished second place here. I think it was 2018.
Yeah.
Did he have any maybe words of advice for you as you approach your third UTMB? Because he's running also, isn't he?
Yeah, he's running also.
Yeah.
We spoke a lot about which part do you prefer, what do you think about cold weather, nutrition. But that's all. Yeah. But
other than that, you're just enjoying the time out on the trail with a friend.
Enjoying the time and we don't speak always about trail running, and that's sometimes really good.
Good. Awesome. Hannes, final question for you, which I've been asking everybody, that is just, who is going to be crewing for you this weekend? Why did you choose that person, and what has that person meant to you in your career?
My friend Andre, he's my teammate from Dynafit. He's now running TDS on position 10. I did a lot of races with him together since 2018, and he's a real friend.
Yeah.
So not only teammate, a real friend. He was at my wedding. I really like him, and I trust him 100%. And after today, he's really smashed. So he's totally tired. And I think he has time, and he wants to be my supporter. That's cool.
Yeah. So a couple days to rest.
Yeah.
Shout out to Andre out there on the TDS course. And then he gets to chaperone the great Hannes Namberger for what I hope is a fantastic, satisfying lap around Mont Blanc. Hannes, thanks for coming on the show. Good luck in the race this weekend. And even bigger luck to you and your wife as you approach the welcoming of your child.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.